Hello there my darlings, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. If you're new here, my name is Adwish and I'm a lover of all things fabulous, darling. I love fashion, beauty and lifestyle, so if you love that too, make sure to stick around. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram where I share loads of my fashion tips and daily life as well. Today's video is a little bit different and it's the first time that I am publicly speaking about my mum and life after my mum, and this is a very sensitive subject for me and my family, so I won't be sharing too much information but just kind of talking to you about who my mum was and how life has been after losing my precious mum. Today is my mum's birthday and I need to try my best and not to cry. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time but I've not been ready, and every time I even thought about speaking about my mum, I just cry. I break down and I break down. I finally have built the courage, and today is my mum's birthday and I'm just, honestly, I pray for her where she is, and I just wanted to share this with the world just so you guys can kind of get to know her through me, because she was such an amazing person and I want to wish her a massive happy birthday in heaven where she is. So happy birthday to my beautiful mom, Mama Mia, where you are. I love you so much. And wow, this is gonna be, yeah. So who was my mum? My mum, Mama Mia was her first name, and some people knew her as Marie Claire. My mum was a phenomenal woman, and I'm not just saying it because she was my mum. She was truly an amazing, kind, loving person and forgiving person that I have ever met in my life. Oh my god. My mum was truly a loving person. She loved everybody. She accepted other people's children in her home. She, like my friends, my sister's friends, other people would come to my mum for advice because my mum was very much neutral. My mum hated separations between families. She really hated it. She was always very forgiving. She loved having her family around. She had the most beautiful smile and beautiful eyes, and she was annoying and she would give it this all the time in my ear. Like once she has something to say, like that's it. We used to call her the police or radio because she would go on and on and on and on and on. She was always on my back about everything, and I thank God for her being the way that she is. She knew everything. She had this gift from God, you know. She knew when I was lying or anybody else was lying to her. Like she would tell you what happened in a certain situation without you even telling her. She had a very close relationship with God, which I really appreciate, you know, having a prayerful mother who was just, she was rejoiceful. She would always rejoice in God. There was never a second that she didn't praise God. Even if she was watching telly, they'd be like, ah, thank you, Jesus. Out of nowhere, we'll be watching EastEnders, she starts praying. I'm like, Mom, like, what are you doing? She's like, I just felt the Spirit of God and I need to pray. And she would pray and she'd be like, leave me, let me sing for my God. Leave me, let me clap for my God. Leave me, let me dance for my God. Like we'll be in the street, Mom would be like, eh, Jésus. And I'd be like, Mom, like, stop. My mom was very much like that. Now that I'm talking about it, I can really just see her dancing. You know, I was trying to share some clips of my mom dancing and just being the beautiful human that she was. And I definitely miss, you know, coming home to cooked meals, coming home from work, asali bundu, you know, she's made chicken. My mom made the best food. She, not just because she's my mom, but she's the best cook. She could cook. Anyone that's been to my house will tell you my mother was such an amazing cook. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Yeah, so overall my mum was kind, she was loving, she had a very pure heart. She loved hard. She loved her children, she loved her family, and above all, my mum loved God. Even the last moment before she passed away, she never lost faith, and that was something incredible that I experienced with her. You know, most people, when they find out that they're dying, they lose faith, you know, but she died with her faith and deep in her faith, and that's something that she's installed in me, and I'll forever be grateful that she left me good. But I don't even know what to say, guys. It's really crazy. We had a really good relationship. My mom, she always wanted to be next to her children and spend time with her family. She would always come up to my room every night before she went to bed and annoy me. And I would give anything to have that again. She would come into my room and just be like, who are you talking to? What are you doing? What's that? And just ask loads of questions. I'm like, Mom, are you the police? Like, there's times where my brother's gone out and has come home really late, like, I don't know, let's say like early in the morning, and Mom would be like, what time did you come in, to my brother? And it would be like, I don't know, 11 o'clock. Mom would be like, you're lying, you didn't come at 11, I was waiting for you, I heard your footsteps like a little rat coming up the stairs slowly. Like, that's how my mom was. Like, she wouldn't sleep until I got home. If I had gone out to a party, she would wait for me to get home. She would be in her room waiting for me to get in. She needs to hear me and see me that I've come into the house. She was very much like that, even with my sister, same with my brothers. She was really, you know, in our lives and really involved. She always wanted us to be the best version of ourselves, and always prayed for God to bless us, to give us everything, because you know, everything that we deserve, and to bless us with opportunities, to bless us with families, marriages, and just everything beautiful. And that was something that she prophesied a lot over our lives, all of us. She prophesied love, happiness, financial freedom, and having a good heart. And the end goal, which everybody wants, is to end up with the mighty God himself in heaven. And that's something that I will always carry in my heart. The way she literally looked after us, like, she was just an incredible woman to my dad, an incredible woman to everyone around her. So I don't want to go into too much details. Like I said, it's private, and my mum was a very private person. She didn't want people knowing her business. She didn't have many friends. Her kids, us, me, my sister, my brothers were her friends. My dad, we were her friends. Like, she had acquaintances, but she didn't have best friends or anything like that. She very much believed in building with your family and having a strong family unit, and that's why me and my sister are so close. A lot of people always say, oh my God, you and your sister are so close. Me and my sister have been so close since birth. My mum made sure that we shared everything. We shared clothes, we shared food. My sister would bath me, she would cook for me, she would look after me, vice versa. My sister would go everywhere with me. We always shared a room, always, because my mum always wanted us to be super close, and she always emphasized on how important it is to have a friend in your sibling. And you can have friends outside, but your sibling is your number one friend, who will never betray you, who will never be disloyal, who would never stab you in the back. You know, it's important to have that strong relationship. And my mum always used the term that blood is thicker than water. Like, this is your blood. You don't get rid of your blood. You don't slander. You don't stab your blood. This is yours. This is your friend for life. And that's something that you know, me and my sister carry in our hearts. And we definitely, well, my sister definitely teaches her children this as well. Same goes with my siblings as well. So my mum was sick. She was sick, and she went for, I'll never forget this day. My mum had an appointment and at the hospital for a checkup, and it was a Monday. And I went to work, and I remember around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I was in the bathrooms at work, and I never get signal in that bathroom, never. But somehow that day I was in the bathroom, my phone rang, and I was like, huh, what is this? I picked up, and it was the hospital, and they said, oh, your mum has been submitted. And I was like, sorry, what do you mean? And they were like, oh, she came for an appointment, but she was feeling really, really unwell. We've taken her up to the ward. And I was just like, what? They're like, yeah, but don't panic, everything is going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, fine. She reassured me that my mum was fine. And I went straight to the hospital to see my mum. And then I was like, you're so bangy sabatu boy, what happened? And she's like, oh, tina's bien, and I said to her, oh, mum, you're scaring us. Like, what happened? She said, oh, no, I'm fine. Nothing happened. I was just feeling a bit unwell. She was fine. I found her singing her favorite song, which I've not been able to play since she passed away, and it's I know who I am, I'm walking in power, walking miracle, I live a life of favor, I know who I am. I've not been able to play this song and other songs that my mum would listen to at the hospital and just at home when she was cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. I've not been able to listen to it because it completely breaks me. My mum was in hospital for about 3 months. And it got to a point where my dad actually moved in the hospital with her, just to make sure, because he was just like, I need to make sure that she's okay, making sure that she's eating, you know, just to give her that extra comfort. So my dad stayed in. He would go to the hospital, stay with my mum, eat with her, stay by her side, come home, have a shower, go back, and my sister and I and other family members will also go in the morning, speak with the doctors, make sure mum was okay, speak to mum, make her laugh, play music. And it got to a point where we were feeding her because she wasn't able to eat herself. Oh my god. And my dad, like I said, was staying with my mum, and there was a day where my siblings, my uncle, and my auntie decided to take over and to stay with my mum for the night. And this was the only time we ever stayed at the hospital. So my dad went home. My dad was like, oh no, like, I want to stay. We said, no, you've been doing like loads of overtimes, let us stay over the night. We knew that she was dying, but although me particularly, I knew, although we all knew, I knew, but my faith didn't allow me to believe that it was true. I didn't believe it to the very end. And I think that's why my mum's death was really, really, really hard on me, and all of us as well. But it was, for me personally speaking, it was very hard for me, and it's something that I don't think I could ever get over. I don't think, you know, it's just something that will continue to live with me forever. So we stayed over. During the night, mum got really, really unwell. Early in the morning, my mum passed away in my presence, in my siblings' presence, my uncle, his wife. I watched her take her last breath. I was this close. If anything, the last voice that she heard was probably mine, because I was screaming, "Mum, wake up. Mum, where you going? Mum, mum," in Lingala. And it just brings vivid images in my head. And I was staring at her like this, screaming, and I watched her take her last breath, and that image has stayed in my head forever, you know, forever. At first I couldn't sleep because that's all I could see. Like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I was broken. I was completely broken. I think even my brother and I even had an argument because I was just so angry. We were all so angry. I started acting so out of character because I felt numb. I felt really, really numb, and at some point I stopped crying. You know, like when you've cried so much that there are no more tears, and I would just be like staring, because I was so confused. Like, I just couldn't understand how this had happened, how the most precious person to me is now gone. I couldn't understand it. It was hard, really, really hard. We had to visit my mum at the morgue, which was even hard. We didn't stop hugging her, we didn't stop kissing her. You know, she was still my mum. She was still Was just seeing her lying there looking so peacefully. She was still my mom at that minute. She was still my queen. She was still Maya. She was still everything to me. And my siblings and I just kissed her and hugged her, and she was so cold. And that just broke my heart because my mom hated being cold. Like, she hated it so much. We didn't have an open casket because we knew that my mom would never have allowed it. She would have never wanted it. So we had a ceremony we planned a ceremony where just really close families would come visit her, because like I said, she was in hospital for a while, so a lot of people didn't see her. And it got to the day where we had to do her makeup, and when I tell you, my sister and I and my auntie went to where my mum was in East London, and it was just the most, I don't even know how to explain it, it was above heartbreaking, just seeing her lying there and doing her makeup. I brought, you know, brushes that I don't use, and my sister did her hair, was fixing it, and I did her makeup, and my sister helped as well to do my mom's makeup. It was hard. At first I just broke down. I couldn't do it. It was very, very difficult to do her full face makeup, and they dressed her. Yeah, so that was very difficult. And then we obviously, you know, gave her the best send-off that we could. You know, I don't want to talk too much about that because it's still very raw, and it's an experience that I will never ever get over, and I don't wish it upon anybody. No one. I would never ever wish it on anyone. I lost faith. I'm not going to lie to you. I lost faith, and I said that I would never pray. I would never ever go back to church. I would, just because I was so broken. I was so hurt. I couldn't understand how God could take my mom away. You know, when you lose someone so close, losing a family member and losing your mother is a complete different pain. They're all very painful, but losing your mum is so painful, and especially because we had such a great relationship. We were her world, you know, and she was my world for sure. And it's just, yeah, it's left a massive void in my heart, massive. And I've, you know, always felt that a part of me died along with her. A massive void, a massive part of me is just non-existent, because I don't know how to explain it, but very, very difficult, and it still is very, very difficult. And one thing I really appreciated about my mom and my dad was the fact that they had their life insurance, and that's why I really wanted to, as they say in Lingala, beta sete. I really wanted to emphasize on this, because I know a lot of Africans don't have life insurance, and my mom had hers in place, which was able to help us with the funding of the funeral. And she also had savings, which also helped to pay for her funeral. And obviously we, her children, also contributed towards the funeral, and were able to give her a dream send-off, which for me was super important. For me and my sister especially, we didn't want her to be, you know, my mum hated dirt. She was a clean freak. That's where I get it from. She would literally, she sees something dirty and you've left, if you've left clutter or just dirt, and she'd be like, hey, Yaka, come here. What is that? She'd be like, Lokota, my mum was very much like that. She hated dirt, hated it. And we didn't want to put her anywhere that was dirty. We didn't want to put her anywhere that was sandy, because she hated it. So we ensured that we gave her a new home that was beautiful, you know. So I would like to ask for African community, especially, even young people, it's so important that you have your life insurance. After my mum died, I saw how effective it was. I opened one, and a gentleman called Ben came to see me and my family, and for a company called EUNISURE, especially pour ba Congolais, alo baka lingala, bako edebino bosa la life insurance, pour na bino na bana na bino, is vraiment très important. sister. It's very, very important to have this, just to ensure that, you know, you're protecting yourself and your family. And when the day does come that the Lord decides to take you, you're not leaving stress behind and not leaving your family in debt. And I think it's so important to ensure that you get the best send off as well. And we really have to think about this. So, you know, adults, children, everybody needs life insurance, and a lot of these life insurance companies will have deals for families. So if you're a mom and have children and a husband, it would cover all of you guys, which is what my sister did. She did it for herself, her husband, and all the kids. And for all the kids under 18, it's free, you know. And I think I pay like £40 a month for mine. And it's very imperative that you do it, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. And so life after my mum has been very, very difficult. And I think the day that everybody left the matanga, we have awakening ceremonies in the Congolese community. So if somebody dies, people come over to your house for, like, I don't know, until the burial happens, basically. And I think we buried my mum 3 weeks later after she died, because it was in December, so Christmas and things like that, and it was so important to us that we buried her before Christmas. And I just really thank God, because, you know, after losing my mom, like I mentioned before, my faith was definitely tested. I got to a point where, you know, after the anger, because it was a shock to my system, and after a while I would slowly get into the praying, and I started to understand things differently. And everything happens for a reason, and nobody is going to stay on earth forever. Death is our way for all of us. We will all go one day. And I understood that. I also understood that God never just takes, he takes and gives back. And God never allows us to go through something that we cannot handle, and everything he does is for our benefit, and we have to be able to give him thanks in every circumstance, you know. So I really understood the importance of giving thanks in every circumstance, even if your heart is breaking and your heart is literally on your mouth. You really have to be able to just give God the glory and give God the thanks, because he knows why he's doing that. What's important was that she went at peace. Her faith was there. Her faith was there, and it was the strongest it had ever been, you know. And even at that time, at that dark time that she was going through, she never stopped believing. She never stopped telling us to stick to God, to hold on to him. She never stopped telling us to keep our trust in him and to continue loving one another within the family. She never stopped telling us that, and those are one of the last few things that she said to us, you know. So that is something that we all carry in our hearts, because yeah, like, it was just so difficult. But I am finding my feet now. I know how to balance things, and, you know, the pain of my mum not being here anymore is still fresh, and I don't know if it would ever change, but at this particular time it's still very fresh. Like I said, it's a very sensitive subject, so I don't want to go into too much details, and please don't ask me, you know, what she died of or anything like that, because that's something that I don't think I will ever share publicly like that. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then I think let's just respect the fact that, you know, she's no longer here, and I don't want to discuss too much, but I just wanted to share my experience with you. It's definitely changed my life, and I will never be the same, because such a big part of me has left, you know. But this experience has also taught me how strong I was, and you know, being strong is very subjective, you know, as well. Just because, you know, I may be strong, it doesn't mean that I'm not hurt. It doesn't mean that I don't cry. It doesn't mean that I'm not broken. It doesn't mean that, you know, I'm not in a dark place, because I definitely was in a dark place, and the person who has been helping me to get through it is definitely God. And just spending more time talking to God and speaking to God and trying to understand things in a way that's bigger than my imagination has also really helped. I would dream of my mum a lot. Even my sister actually saw my mum pass before it had happened in her dream. She saw where my mum was going. She was like in this really nice bright house. She had servants, and I think when she told my mum understood what that dream meant, but my sister didn't get it at the time, because she really has that gift. So it was, yeah, like I would have dreams of her and I would be like, "Mum, I miss you so much." She would tell me that she loves me, that she's okay, and I feel like we all kind of had that dream individually, where she said she was okay, she's at peace, and you know, before she died, she told us to live. She told us to live. She said, you know, if anything happens to me, I want you to live, to continue living your life because you deserve it. Continue being a good person. So that's something that also sticks with me, and I praise God for everything. And yeah, and sometimes God has to sacrifice somebody, right? I know that she's an angel where she is, and she's definitely my angel above, and I'm just so thankful to God now that I do have somebody to look after me, alongside God himself and his angels. And it's just nice to know that my mom is amongst those angels, protecting and looking after us daily. So yeah, I hope everything has made sense, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to wish my mom a happy birthday, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Lots of love, guys. Mwah.